Have you ever wondered how to repurpose your amazing blog or sales letter?
Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Phil.
And we're from Firewave. And Firewave creates amazing content and letters for our members. What we want to show you today is, even if you're not a member, is how to take one piece of content and turn it into something incredible that'll actually have an audience being built for you all across all the different channels you're using, and to make sure people perceive you as the expert in your area.
On today's Whiteboard Wednesday. So you start with an amazing blog or letter. It can be either or. You make sure you've got accurate, specific, important data that your audience will find interesting.
And I'll just say something about the data actually, because what I find really interesting, I'm a bit of a data geek, and I like looking at things like how many £1 million plus properties have sold in our area over the last year, or what's the most expensive property sold ever in our area, ever in the history of land registry. You know, so those kind of figures start off an idea with you that will give you something to write about, gives you a hook. So, you know, your opening could be, did you know that in the Lake District last year only 9 properties sold over 1 million? Because that has a hook for people, and if people didn't know that, they'd want to read on.
Yep, so once you've got your letter or blog, you can repurpose it back to each other. So if you've written an amazing blog, it's quite easy then to turn that into a content, educative sales letter that's probably 5 or 6 pages long. If you've written a sales letter, it's quite easy then to turn it back into a useful blog.
I would say that on a blog, you probably want to be looking at about 1,000 words, and likewise on a letter, which is usually about 4 to 6 pages. So with pictures and formatting and all the rest of it, it's probably about right. So then what do? You've got these 2 pieces of content. What do you then do? What can you turn it into? So quite an easy thing to turn it into is slides, particularly if you've got photographs that you're using here on your letter or your blog. Then let's say you've got 6 photographs, you can turn those into 6 slides with the data over the top of them. It's dead easy to do in PowerPoint, and it actually looks really creative. You don't need a designer to do that.
Yeah, and once you've made the slides, that can then be turned into a PDF, it'll just look like an ebook. You can either get that printed, or you can send it out as a PDF, and it just looks really...
It looks educative, it looks colourful, attractive, positions you as the expert.
Yeah, it looks like an ebook, really simply. So it's quite an easy transformation from a blog into something that looks like you spent hours writing.
Yeah.
You can, like Sam, you can claim you're a best-selling author.
The last time I did this, by the way, I turned this, which was 1,000 words, into about 16 slides, and then that makes a really nice little ebook.
Once you've got the slides, similar to the ebook, somewhere in PowerPoint, or you can use online software, you can create a video where it'll stay on each slide for 4 or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever you want it to be, and it will roll through the slides with some dodgy music on the background.
And maybe some little animations for the text and images, that kind of thing. You can actually make it look really good. Even putting transitions between your slides makes it look like a video. And then there's a record option on PowerPoint that's really easy to do. I don't know how to do it on Keynote, sorry, so if you're a Keynote user, you're going to have to work that out yourself, but plenty of YouTube tutorials. And speaking of YouTube, YouTube is starting to put software inside YouTube that you can then use for this kind of thing, where you upload all the images and it turns it into a little slideshow. And I think Facebook does the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, so does TikTok.
And TikTok as well. We're going to come on to that. So the other way of having a video about this data, because it's obviously fantastic data that you want to use and you want to get out there, is doing a live to camera. So live is always better than not live, but if you have to practice it beforehand, then just do it to camera, and then you can share it on any social media platform. But we prefer Facebook Live. We go live every week on Facebook on Wednesday for our Ask AJ, and it's gathered its own little audience, and it positions us as the expert.
If it's not live, you end up giggling and you'll be sat there for 3 days like we do.
And even if we do gig, we'll just carry on.
Yes, you've got no choice, people are watching. If you don't fancy the dodgy music, dodgy 90s music, I'm sure you all know what I mean. Did someone say this morning it was like a paranormal, dodgy paranormal thing you see on those Sky channels?
Like it was a cold day in Montana.
You can just talk over the video. So you can talk over the slides, explain it. Be careful if you do that, don't read out every word.
No, in fact, try not to read it at all, because you can really, really hear it. So, and try not just to say what's on the slide, interpret it for somebody. But again, that's really easy to do. We use software called ScreenFlow, which is specifically for Mac. The PC alternative is Camtasia, and they're both about $150 to $200, and they both just stay on one device, and they're dead easy to use. But if you are a Mac user, you can also use iMovie, which is It's really easy.
Yeah, and once you've spoken over the video, you could turn that into either a podcast or just audio and release that.
Yeah, you can just upload it to your Facebook page and people can just listen to it out on a run or walk or something, or in the car. And then we created a PR piece out of our one this month as well, and that hit the local paper. It got put on the online version as well, and it's just, and we actually got a van off the back of it.
We did.
Didn't we? Instead of the seen us in the paper, even though they made a colossal typo that was not us, which is a bit disappointing, and they missed off our photograph. But if you've got a well-written piece with a few images in and a good hook, like "Did you know that?", then your local paper will probably pick it up and put it somewhere in the paper.
Yeah, so once you have all this content, there's probably 8, 9, 10 pieces of there, just really from 1,500 word piece of content you originally wrote. These are all the methods tools you can use to get it out there to your audience.
I'm really trying about amplifying it out.
And they're all totally different audiences as well. So if you look at Facebook and Facebook ads, in terms of where your clients are, your sellers, they probably are on Facebook at the moment. LinkedIn is more for the professionals, as they like to be called, the accountants.
See, I put it on LinkedIn and I didn't expect to get much traction on it, but there are some key LinkedIn users in our area who are really, really prolific users, and they have lots of shares, comments and engagement, so they're very active users, and I wanted them to notice it because one of them runs a big financial services house, and I wanted to make sure that she saw it so then that she could tell other people, and hopefully she would credit us back with the source of the data. So it's not necessarily about reach from that point of view, it's actually about reaching local influencers. Whereas on Facebook, it's a fun thing to just watch and see, this is the video we're talking about here.
Yeah, YouTube. So every video you do, you could just upload to your own YouTube channel.
Even if you do it live, by the way, you can still, if you do it live on Facebook, you can still download and upload it. It's not the world's best quality, but...
No, very simple to do. Russell Brunson always talks about making sure you have your own show, no matter what that is, consistent on a certain channel. So that's
Sam show, isn't it?
Then
Twitter, TikTok, Facebook ads, email, direct mail. You've heard it all from us many, many times. Just get it out there in every single way. If you're wondering about a channel, get it on the channel and then wonder with the data in front of you. You know, we've talked endlessly about whether Twitter is any good or not. For us, we got one registration to a webinar from Twitter last time from about 25 posts. So you'd think not, but then that one person might have become a purchaser, so you just don't know, do you? So try all your channels and then you can work out yourself. Nobody can tell you what channel's right for you. Only your audience will tell you what channel's right for you. So that was today's Whiteboard Wednesday, where we're talking about content creation and repurposing. Hope you found that useful. If you'd like to know a little bit more about how Firewave can help you and your agency hit the dizzy heights that you want to reach in 2021, forgot the year then please message us, or you can go to fire-wave.co.uk/start and see if your area is available, which is a really good starting point to see whether you could potentially become a client and whether we can have a proper conversation with you. That's it.
That's it.
Thanks, bye for now.